Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here at the Ruttenberg Library. I just wanted to come to you this morning at the beginning of the week with it's going to be kind of a weekly reads because I did not get my Friday reads done this last Friday because I was in the middle of, or at the end of, a couple different books, and I kind of wanted to finish them before I gave you a weekly wrap up. So this is just going to be kind of a weekly reads, and then I have a mail haul, a very large mail haul, and I'm very excited to show some books off to you that were sent to me. And so let's just go ahead and get started. So, talking about my week this last week, well, probably the last 2 weeks. I don't think I've done a Friday reads for a couple of weeks, but it's as far as life at school, we have had snow, and more snow, and then when there wasn't snow, we had bitterly cold temperatures. Temperatures were ranging 15 to 20 below, and so at school we called off our regular sessions of going into school, and we just did remote learning for a few days. And we do that because we are a rural district, and our kids have to sit out at the bus stop waiting on the buses, and sitting out in 15 to 20 below temperatures is definitely not good, and not good on the kids who are walking to school. And I could tell you from my perspective, I walk to school, and I don't remember how many blocks exactly it is, 3 or 4 blocks, and it's pretty brisk when you're walking to school, and that wind's coming right in your face. And so each of those mornings I went up to school to get my stuff around to put online, and because I don't have internet here at home, so it's just much easier for me to do it at school. Much better connection than trying to use my phone. But I went ahead and went up to school, and I had not shaved at that point, and I'm telling you, right here was just a big old icicle all across my face on the walk to school. So it was quite interesting with those very, very cold temperatures. And so at school, like I said, we've been doing remote learning for a couple of days in there, and then when we got the kids back in, we did good. I'm pretty proud of the kids in some respects. We've been looking at some stuff. My 8th grade's been getting into we're getting ready to do some Constitution stuff, and so we're talking about Articles of Confederation and some of that early American Republic stuff, and they just been doing well so far with some. It could be more complicated stuff, and so we've been doing a lot of little readings. My 6th grade's looking at, we've been doing some history of North America, and we were looking at some of Columbus's journals, and we're analyzing his perspective on stuff, and just how much of a snake he could be in what his plans were for the Native Americans, and it just wasn't good. We're looking at it from his perspective, and then today we're going to look at it from another perspective, and we're gonna see the evilness of the colonizers, and hopefully those kids will see that there are always two sides to a story. And anyway, so that's been some of our reading. We this last week, like I said, I was wrapping up books. I finished 3 books in 3 days, was it? Or 3 books in 4 days? I can't remember. But some of the books that I've been reading some, and I'll have to put the little play card up there because I had to take them back to the library. But the Philip R. Craig Martha's Vineyard series. I had talked to my local library, and she ordered in 3 books for me, and so they've been coming in one at a time, and so I got one of them read. One of them was Death in Vineyard Waters, and that was a really good read. Again, these are not like super hard novels by any means. They're pretty cozy mysteries. You sit down in your chair and you can read them in a long afternoon. And but anyway, Death in Vineyard Waters was about a bunch of academics who came out with a new theory on some, I think it was Shakespeare writings, and so we get some academic jealousy going across, and one of the gals who is always being super hypercritical of all of her colleagues, she ends up murdered. And of course, now we've got to go through all of the different academics that she was involved with, the different academic people, and see who had the biggest motive to murder her. And I will say that this one was interesting because you don't see the murderer until towards the very end, whereas in the other ones that I read, you could pick up on who probably was the murderer a little closer to the middle of the book. And so this one left the mystery till a little bit further in, so that was kind of nice. So I finished that book. It was good. I also finished Craig Johnson's Walt Longmire series, volume 1, or the first book in the series, and that was The Cold Dish, and that was a really good one. I like watching the Longmire TV series, and the basic premise of the book is there is in the past there was a Cheyenne girl who was mentally slow, and she ended up getting raped and definitely taken advantage of by some just absolute jerks in school. And they were put on trial for rape and for some other accounts, and they got off pretty easy at the trial. Well, one of those comes up murdered. And then next thing you know, there's another murder. And so we're trying to figure out through the book who's doing the murdering. And Longmire, even though he's friends with the Native Americans, and he's got connections there, but he also is the sheriff and has to deal with these murders, and everybody's looking at, is it the Native Americans that are taking revenge on, for what happened in the past. And so the whole book is going through that and the different events. And of course, Longmire is going through some personal issues, and he's struggling through some personal issues, and it really carries the story. And we meet all the new the characters in the sheriff's department, Ferg and Vic, and just the old sheriff and his relation who's in the sheriff's department. Really good story. Goes pretty well along with the TV series, although I think they differ. I need to go back and look at some of those original, because I remember the TV show that went with this one, but I don't remember it ending the same. And you don't know who the murderer is till the very end of the book. So that was pretty cool. And you fall in love with some of these characters. You get real tied into the characters. So Craig Johnson does an excellent job. So that was the second book that I read. And again, I'll try to put those pictures up there so you can see what they look like. Had to get those back to the library. The third book that I finished was a buddy read that I was doing with Scott over at the Bookish Bryants, and I've read this book many times, but he had never read it, and it was John Jakes' The Bastard, which is the volume 1 in the Kent Family Chronicles, and just absolutely fell in love with the book all over again. I'm going to do a book chat on this one later in the week. It was just excellent. Sorry if there's a little glare. I had to do some tape work to this old cover. Matter of fact, I might have to be looking for, in the near future, a whole nother copy of this, because this book is, I don't know how many more reads it's going to be able to take. But excellent book about a French teenager who finds out that his father is English nobility, and throughout the whole story he tries to claim an inheritance, which he never gets, and ends up coming to America. And along the way he has many adventures with some pretty famous Americans, and it just goes right into the Revolution. Opening shots of the Revolution is where the book leaves off. But you meet all kinds of historical characters in this, and John Jakes, he just really wraps you into the characters. And so I got that finished yesterday, and it's, like I said, excellent read. Still one of my all-time favorite books. So I got that done, and Scott and I had some good discussions on Voxer about, just the the character of the characters, and quite interesting. I hope to talk about that in the book chat. So my plans for this next week are I'm going to continue this little kick that we've got going here at the Ruttenberg Library with mysteries. You know, I really kind of dipped into these well, when did I start doing it? Was it January? Might have been in January, definitely in February. But, and I know March Mystery Madness is coming, and I got some plans for that. I'm going to continue this, but I'm going to read this next Philip R. Craig's Martha's Vineyard. It's Vineyard Fear, originally published as Cliffhanger. And I got that one from the library. I hope to get that one done this week. Got it started. Didn't get very far because my daughter woke up the other morning, so didn't get very far. But I'm also going to dip into Craig Johnson's Death Without Company, another Walt Longmire mystery. It's book number 2 in that series, and this one's a little bit smaller than the first one, about 100 pages smaller than the first one. So I think I can get that one read pretty quick. It might get put off till March, though. This might be part of my March Mystery Madness. And then the nonfiction book that I've been working on that I haven't really touched in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just because of what my overall mindset's been with reading. I've struggled with that. But anyway, Lincoln's Mentors, The Education of a Leader by Michael Gerhardt, which is a new book that came out, and it's pretty good. Again, I've been just struggling with focusing. My nonfiction books I've struggled with. That's why I've read so much more fiction this last month. I think personally, I think the winter seasonal disorder thing's kicking in big time with all of the snow and being shut in, and then you throw on top of it all the quarantine stuff we've had over the last year, and then, you know, just personally, I've got issues with anxiety and everything else, and so I really have had a lot of, you know, just issues with focusing, and so I'm hoping this next week I can really get going on that book and get my mindset going in the right direction again. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So if you're wondering why I haven't put very many videos out the last, 3 weeks, I think, that is a large part of what it is. I've been sitting here trying to, you know, I knew some stuff I wanted to do videos on, and I just sat here and I could not film, and I couldn't get my mindset going in the right direction. And so I kind of just focused on my fiction reads. I've been kind of cozying up in my chair and trying to feel comfortable, and that's just how it is. But sometimes that happens. But anyway, let's do the mail haul portion of this, and I'm going to try to do this. I'll try to go through these quick. Try not to read all of the synopsis of the books, but if you follow Todd at Todd's Bursting Bookcase, he put out a video, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. I watched it yesterday. He was talking about one of his major endeavors over the last year and a half has been trying to clean his collection. If you've never watched his bookshelf tours, you need to watch them. His bookshelf tours are absolutely great. His collection is massive, and I drool with envy over his collection. He's got an awesome collection, and in his video yesterday, he talked about he's been, you know, taking books to the bookstore for credit or reselling them back. He's been sending books to family. He's been sending books through the mail to people who he knows will appreciate the titles that he's sending. And I luckily am one of those recipients. And he sent me some books from his history collection, and I am eternally grateful. Thank you, Todd. I truly appreciate what you sent me, and that you even think about sending stuff to me. You know, when you send a book to somebody, to me, that's really personal, because oftentimes we become connected to those books, and it's like giving a gift, and you just hope that the place that you send it is a good place to send it. And so I feel honored that you feel that way by sending them, you know, here to the Ruttenberg Library. So I know I will cherish them, and as we talked about, if there's any doubles in here, they're going to go to my school classroom, so it'll go to my classroom library, so they'll still get one way or another, they will be cherished. And so I wanted to share what he sent to me. What he sent me kind of comes in three categories. He sent me a lot of stuff on Custer. He sent me a lot of stuff on Civil War, and then he sent me, I'll just call it a miscellaneous category. And so let's go ahead and just start with this Custer collection. He had quite the collection here, and I was pretty impressed. I wasn't expecting these. He told me he was going to send me some Civil War titles, so I was expecting those, but this was my surprise, and I'm very happy to take these into the collection. So let's go through these, and like I said, I'm going to go through a little bit quickly. But anyway, this is Tenting on the Plains, or General Custer in Kansas and Texas, and this is by Elizabeth B. Custer. And so this takes place obviously before Custer's last stand, but this is why he was out on the prairie. And very happy to add this to the collection. It is a University of Oklahoma press out of Norman and London, and it was published in, let's see here, where is it? 1994, it looks like. First published in 1895, but 1994 is this particular publishing. So that was nice to add to the collection. And the next one is A Complete Life of General George A. Custer by Frederick Whitaker. And this is a 2-volume set. Volume 1 is Through the Civil War. So you can see a young Custer there. And Volume 2 is From Appomattox to the Little Bighorn. So this is a nice little collection, not like huge by any means. I should be able to get through it pretty quick. This is from the University of Nebraska Press out of Lincoln and London, and it is, let's see, 1993. This one came out in 1993. Next one in the group here is With Custer's Cavalry by Catherine Gibson Fugera. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And this is University of Nebraska Press out of Lincoln and London. And original copyright looks like 1940. And this is a 1986 book. 1986 book. Continuing same theme. This is Lakota Recollections of the Custer Fight. New Sources of Indian Military History. Compiled and edited by Richard G. Hardiff, and introduction by Jeremy A. Green. So, looks like this will be from the Native American point of view. And University of Nebraska Press, Lincoln and London, and this one is a 1997 book. Looks like maybe originally 1991, but this version is 1997. And the next one in this large collection here is Colonel W.A. Graham, The Story of Little Bighorn, Custer's Last Fight. Got a wonderful painting there. And it is University of Nebraska Press, Lincoln and London. And looks like the original copyright was 1926. This one's 1988. 1988. And so got some pictures and stuff in this one, some nice black and white photos. So that'll be, looks like it'll be a quick read. This next one is called I Fought with Custer, the story of Sergeant Will Windolph, the last survivor of the Battle of Little Bighorn, as told to Fraser and Robert Hunt. Forward by Neil Mangum. Another wonderful artistic piece here. I like old paintings. Comes from University of Nebraska Press out of Lincoln. Original 1947, but this one is 1987. 1987. And this is Troopers with Custer, Historic Incidents of the Battle of Little Bighorn, by E.A. Brennenstuhl. and it is, let's see, University of Nebraska Press again, and it is originally 1952, and 1989 is this particular copy. Another one looks like it has lots of nice black and white photos. I like that because it really gets my imagination going, helps me visualize what I'm reading, and so I always appreciate that. Here's one. I actually have this one already, but my copy is in not the greatest of shape, so this will be a replacement copy for me. But this is My Life on the Plains, or The Personal Experiences with Indians, General George Armstrong Custer, with an introduction by Edgar Stewart. And so, like I said, this copy's in a lot better shape than mine was. I went upstairs and was double checking, but anyway, this is University of Oklahoma Press, Norman and London, and 1988 is this particular copy. And so that'll be a good read. And then he also threw in the Custer Battlefield, the official National Park Handbook. And so you get these when you go to the park itself. Lots of color photos of the battlefield and different accounts, and just telling the basic overall story of what happened there. So that's kind of nice to have as well. But that is the collection of Custer books that Todd sent me. So thank you, Todd, for those. I'm going to go with the miscellaneous stack next. And I am about ready to butcher a name, so please forgive me for that. But this one is by Johann George Cole, the Kichigami, the Life Among the Lake Superior Ojibwe. Hopefully I said that right. But nice copy here. And this one says Kichigami, Johann George Cole's classic book on the Ojibwe of Lake Superior, is a fascinating study in contrasts and similarities. Its author was an urbane, well-traveled European, a trained ethnologist, and an accomplished popular writer. Cole turned his sensitive powers of observation on a nation of people he found not unlike his own. Perceptively and elegantly, he described daily life among the Ojibwe, detailing religious practices, legends, foods, games, medicines, homes, clothing, methods of travel, hunting and fishing. Cole's gentle humor and candor and his respect for the Ojibwe people anticipate later developments in American ethnology and make his writing especially appealing to the modern reader. And so I have nothing on them, on this particular group of people, and so that'll be a nice little addition to my collection. Next book looks really interesting. This is Monument Man, The Life and Art of Daniel Chester French by Harold Holzer. And of course, I'm a fan of Harold Holzer. He's a pretty famous Lincoln historian. He's got a lot of books out there that he's put together. But this is about the artist, I believe, that created the Lincoln Memorial, as based in the picture there. I've never read anything on that. And but this is not just about the Lincoln Memorial, because I was pretty excited when I saw it, just because I like Lincoln. But this is about all of his artwork, and there's a lot of nice pictures of different artwork that he's done throughout this book. And as I said, I like Harold Holzer, so that'll be a great little addition to the collection. Blurbed by Ron Chernow. But anyway, this one is from, let's see, Princeton Architectural Press out of New York, and it is a 2019 book. So this is a pretty new book, and pretty excited to read that. The next one is a 2-volume history or biography of Hitler, and I've seen this on various channels, and I had not seen it yet in any of my used bookstores. So I was real excited when I seen this. The 2 volumes are very, very hefty. it looks like they're going to be intensive reads. They're over 1,000 pages. At least one volume is. I don't know if the other volume is. Yeah, the next volume's over 800, almost 800. Let's see, 845 pages. So I mean, you're talking almost 2,000 pages of stuff on Hitler. But this is by Ian Kershaw, and the first volume's Hitler, 1930. Oh, excuse me. First volume is Hitler, 1889 to 1936, Hubris. And so I know several of you are familiar with this. I did not have it in my collection. And this came out in 1999, and I guess it's a little older than I thought it was. I didn't actually look to see, but I saw this on some people's channels recently, so I thought it was a newer book. But anyway, Hitler, 1936 to 1945, Nemesis. And so that's volume 2. And like I said, these are pretty hefty books. You could literally use them for doorstops. From W.W. Norton and Company out of New York. And okay, so this one is new. This volume 2, is from the year 2000. So that's what I thought. I thought it was newer. So this is the newer volume. The other one's a little bit older. But glad to add those to the collection. Always looking to learn new stuff. So the next part of this stack, and I'll try to go through these quickly because the video's starting to get a little long, but these are Civil War books, all of these. And so if you're interested in Civil War, this will be the portion of the video you enjoy. So he sent me some Burke Davis copies. This is 2 Appomattox, 9 April Days, 1865. And I have this copy, but I think this copy might be in better shape than my copy. But anyway, Burke Davis, pretty famous Civil War historian. His stuff's a little bit older, but good writer. It's from Reinhardt and Company out of New York, and it's a 1959 book. 1959. Next one is The Long Surrender by Burke Davis, and this one's from Random House. I don't have a jacket cover with this, but that's all right. I also have this copy, so these ones that I have will go to my collection at school for the kids to use. But this one is, like I said, from Random House out of New York. It's a 1985 book, and I enjoy his collection of books. They are fairly easy to read. Lots of pictures in the middle there. Be a good copy. Here is biography on Judah P. Benjamin, Confederate Statesman by Robert Meade. And I have nothing on Judah Benjamin, and so this will be something new for me. And it is an older copy. It is from Oxford University Press out of London. It's a 1943 book. And there's a picture of that Confederate statesman. Yeah. And so the next one's another Burke Davis. It says they called him Stonewall, a life of Lieutenant T.J. Jackson, CSA. And so pretty excited to put this in the collection. I have a copy of this one, but like I said, this is in really good shape, so I'll send it to school, and the kids can use this for their studies, their History Day studies. This is from Fairfax Press out of New York, and it is a 1988 printing. Here is a biography on Richard S. Ewell. It's called A Soldier's Life. Donald C. Fans is the author. I do not have anything on Ewell, and so this is a big old thick book, and I'm pretty excited to have this. I'm definitely going to learn some new stuff on this. The University of North Carolina Press out of Chapel Hill in London, and it is from 1998. And like I said, it's a big thick one. It's over 650 pages, and so I don't have anything on Ewell. Always good to get some new stuff. Here's another new one for me in my collection, General A.P. Hill, The Story of a Confederate Warrior by James I. Robertson Jr. And I have some stuff by James Robertson, so that's good to, I'm familiar with him. A couple other books by him. This is from Random House out of New York, and it's a 1987 book. So, again, another general that I don't have any material on, so that's nice to have. Here's another Civil War book here, Chancellorsville, 1863, The Souls of the Brave by Ernest Ferguson. And nice copy, really good shape. And this is from Alfred A. Knopf out of New York. It's a 1992 book. And of course, Chancellorsville, that's of course where Stonewall Jackson was killed. And to me, when I teach Civil War, it's one of the turning points of the Civil War when Jackson dies, because I think he was a key to the South and their attempts to break the nation. And with his death, it allows the North to be able to take advantage of some things with the South. So anyway, the next one is a Civil War Treasury of Tales, Legends, and Folklore, edited with an introduction by B.A. Botkin, illustrated by Warren Chappell. And I have this one as well, but this copy looks like it's in a little better shape than mine, so I will send mine probably to school. This is from Promontory Press, and it is a 1960 book. So anyway, like I said, big book, or mail haul, excuse me, not book haul, mail haul, from Todd at his Bursting Bookcase, and I truly appreciate that, Todd. Thank you so much for sending these to me. This is going to be nice additions to my library and just my personal education as I go along. It sounds like his personal library there at his house is a little bit like what I intend mine to be, kind of a research center for all of his education stuff, and that's kind of what I'm wanting. And pretty proud of the library, and I'm pretty proud to add these titles to my library, so thank you for that. And so BookTube, I thank you for watching. If you stayed with me for the full 32 minutes, sorry for the longer video. But this has been, weekly reads and what I'm reading in the next week, and then what I got in the mail. So till next time, BookTube, thank you for watching. Have a great day and happy reading.